guys, back here at Midland City Cemetery today, and right here I'm standing next to Benjamin Dean and Jerusha Dean and their children, their graves here. As you can see, Ben has lost the top of his obelisk here. I was able to contact a descendant, and I was able to talk to the cemetery sexton here and was given permission to fix this. So today I'm here to prepare this to be worked on and for this top half of the obelisk to be set back on. So I'm going to get this piece up front here. I already treated this piece with D2 and cleaned it last year, but the bottom or the top half I haven't yet cleaned, so it's sitting in the dirt. We're going to get it up on a piece of wood and do some cleaning. Okay, well, as you can see here, it's a pretty gnarly break, and it's been sitting down in the dirt for probably quite some time. We need to get it all cleaned up before we can fix it. So okay, got most of the dirt off of it. Now I'm going to treat it with D2, and once we treat this with D2, we're going to let it sit. I'll check on it a couple of times over the next couple of weeks. When it gets to the point where it's looking really clean, then it'll be ready to set back on top here. Also, I got about another week or so before my hoist will be finished, and just ordered this stuff last week for it, and it's still going to be delivered tomorrow. So we'll get this cleaned up. It'll have a couple weeks to set and get ready for resetting, and then we'll come back and we'll reset it. Okay, well, I got here this morning, took the clamps and the wood off, and it's holding good. This joint down here is actually pretty weak. I'm going to see about possibly taking this whole thing off and putting some mortar in this joint later on this week. But today I'm going to fill in this crack and this crack here with some marble infill material and get this thing looking the way it's supposed to look. Get that joint protected from freeze thaw, water getting in there and stuff. So that's what we're going to do today. Hopefully this thing will be looking just like new by the time we're done. So let's get started. Okay, I've got my marble mortar mixed up here. This one's going to be a little bit difficult to match because it's got a lot of this gray veining through it. But this is a pretty light or bright white marble stone. So I am using the light marble Lithium X mix. Dry. Didn't want to mix up too much again, have a bunch of waste, so I figured I'd mix up just a little bit, and if I have to, I can mix some more, which I'm gonna have to tell you that right now. This is gonna be about perfect for a first coat though. This backside has got a little bit more of a gap, bigger chunk missing, so I'm gonna do that after I start my cleanup on the rest. I'll show you how I do that. Okay, I'm going to start cleaning up a little bit. Okay, well, I started the cleanup already. I had somebody stop and talk to me for a minute, and I started wiping it down already. I'm just going to let it set up a little bit more, and then I'll continue. Started on this. Make sure that's all good and set in there. You guys can see the stone wobbling while I'm working on it. There's actually, I think there's a center pin that keeps this on top of the base here. So I'm confident that it's not going to blow over. I think what happened with this was years ago a branch must have fallen out of one of these pine trees right here and broke this stone. So hopefully we'll be good for a while now. This headstone actually belongs to a man's name is Benjamin Dean, and he is actually one of the Midland pioneers, Midland, Michigan, and he's actually in a book. There's a book that was published in 1884 called the 1884 Midland Portrait and Biographical Album, and there's some portraits of him and his wife Jerusha in that book, and I'll post a couple pictures up in this video. But they came here early on in Midland history. Midland was a village in 1857. and they settled here and had some kids, and many of their kids are buried right here with them. But very prominent family here, and it just didn't feel right to have a Midland Pioneers headstone looking all busted up and half laying on the ground. So kind of nice to get out here and do this for him and his memory. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry up some more and then do a final cleanup on it. I don't want to do too much more on it right now because I don't want to remove too much material. It's actually looking pretty good right now, so we'll get back at it here in a little bit, and we'll start filling on the back side where there's a bigger gap. Okay, so as you can see, this back side has quite a bit bigger gap there. There's a pretty large chunk missing from right here, and I've mixed up some mortar. Boy, this last two times I mixed up this mortar, there's been a chunk of yellow stuff in it that I don't really like. But now I'm gonna put some of this mortar in here, and this is really wet stuff. Is there something red in there too? What in the world? I don't like that. Gonna mix that mortar up, stuff it in there. I have to let it set up some, and we'll get another layer on there in a little bit. But I mix this up a little wetter because I want to be able to smush it into this crack good. Okay, well, here it is. It's all done. I just wiped it down so it looks a little different color on that top half, but it by far looks much better than it did before. It's all in one piece again, and looks a lot better. Much better. I was able to fill this piece in. Took a couple of coats, and it's still a little soft, but it's a lot better than it was. Missing a big old chunk out of it. You can see it still moves a little bit, but couple of days I'll come down here and I'll mix up a little bit more mortar, and I'll try to put some of this gray veining over that a little bit to help it blend some more. But it's a lot better than it was. Well, I want to thank you guys all for coming along. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell so you don't miss anything else just like this.